As kids, we strive to make sense of the world around us, navigating the complexities of friends, family, romance, and responsibilities that are all things that we can relate to, which makes warming up to the narrative adventure Last Time I Saw You so easy. This is a game that leads players through a coming-of-age adventure that hits on some rather emotional story beats. Last Time I Saw You thrives on its narrative and world building. The game takes place in 1980s Japan as Ayumi is preparing for the arrival of a typhoon with his parents. While they are worried of the real dangers, this is an event that they're used to in this town, and they plan each day around the storm's activities. Ayumi's relationship with his parents is very close, but his mom is currently dealing with the loss of her father, and his dad spends a lot of time at work. However, they still manage to have open communication with each other as they deal with their own struggles. Ayumi's day-to-day is typically planned around school, but after the storm destroys his campus, he and his friends are free to spend their days as they wish. An interesting aspect is how the game allows you to invest yourself in the community by interacting with NPCs at every opportunity. Over time, you'll begin to learn more about them, the town, and possibly hints about your choices that you'll make in the future. Yes, this game has choices that do affect some interactions. It's a nice incentive for those who take their time, but time isn't on Ayumi's side. Lately, Ayumi has been having strange dreams, in which a girl he's never met leads him to a cursed village that resides in his town. Well, it turns out she isn't a dream, and her impact on the remainder of the game puts her in a leading role. I don't want to reveal too much about her, including her name, to save you the experience. But their relationship is pretty complicated, but those complexities don't actually overshadow the struggles that those close to Ayumi are going through. The entire experience is more than just one straight shot to the end. There are these side stories going alongside Ayumi's quest, which make up the most impactful moments of the entire narrative. Evidently, Ayumi's town is cursed, but there's a way for him to save it by following the orders of this mysterious girl. Throughout the forest, you'll encounter other friends and foes as you collect key objects that will alter the future. However, Ayumi, being 12 years old, puts him at a rather impressionable state. He acts like an adult, but the choices that he makes seem to affect him on an emotional level differently than the girl. It's not out of the ordinary to wonder if everyone around Ayumi is only taking advantage of him. And on a personal level, Ayumi's stubbornness begins to get in the way of connecting with those who are around him. It's a vicious circle and one that comes off as personal in some areas, but broad enough to relate to in others. Gameplay has Ayumi traveling around town and the forest, collecting items, interacting with characters, solving puzzles, and fighting spirits. I found it interesting that the default move setting is run, but it quickly made sense when you factor in the significant amount of backtracking in this game. If I could just point out that this game is a great way to wind down after a long day. But marathoning it will introduce some fatigue as you make your way back and forth across the map a lot. There is a sort of fast travel system in the forest, but it's not always that helpful. As you solve puzzles and progress the narrative, optional quests become available that typically involve delivering special items, which might mean waiting for a certain day to purchase them. For each new day comes a few activities to check off, such as talking to everyone, seeing what's available in the shops, and walking out to your porch for some nice self-reflection. Other than that, your time is spent in the forest with a strange girl and a bunch of other dangers. Dying will send you back to a save point, but there are plenty of places to save your game and you likely won't be dying too much. Ayumi is armed with a bat with which he can take down spirits. However, there's also a bit of narrative puzzles as well where you must decide how to tackle particular situations. I actually really liked the surprise of this, but I felt like its implementation was created as a way to teach the player that bad things can still happen even when you think you're cheesing your way to a good route. Outside of that, Last Time I Saw You is a gorgeously animated adventure game with a natural progression, but with poor pacing. The music is full of ambience and tension as you discover more about the history of this town and this mysterious girl. It's all reminiscent of summertime during high school when responsibilities don't exist, and the hope of finding your path through life was sitting right at the end of a long adventure. Last Time I Saw You is a standout narrative adventure that doesn't force you to relate to the main protagonist, but instead weaves in the stories and struggles of a young group of friends and how they plan to tackle life. Following Ayumi's lead down a quest for love is an experience I won't forget anytime soon, but the path forward does require some personal pacing to avoid backtracking exhaustion. If you need a nice dose of nostalgia, you found your game. Noisy Pixel is giving Last Time I Saw You an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy pixel.